Hi, how are you doing? My name is Alan Michka here. My alter ego name is Saji Baby or Saji. That's my alter ego name. Um, Welcome to my page. Welcome to my channel. We're trying to create this channel for self-awareness, for like advocating for self-love and stuff. I think I'd like to think like I'm in that position where I am kind of woke. Like I'm still like learning things about myself, learning things about life, learning things about like everything. Like we are learning every day. It's a continuous journey of learning. So this channel is gonna be, or it's called Let's Figure Out. So literally, let's figure out. So this channel will be more about like figuring out like certain things, or even like discussing things that we don't get to discuss as much as we want to, because of certain constraints, like certain limitations. But I'm here for it all. I'm here for it all, baby. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Um, yeah, let's start. So today I wanted to talk more about like kindness. I wanted to talk about kindness and what I define kindness to be, and some of the things that you know like some of the what am I saying, some of the things that we would implement from kindness. Yeah. So first of all, what I define kindness as, I define kindness as like treating yourself with respect, respecting yourself. Kindness is not berating yourself when you are experiencing a failure. Maybe it might be in a career, it might be in a relationship, it might be even in just a small task. Like that compassion. Yeah, so compassion is a huge element of kindness. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that, kindness can be rooted from so many things. And this is what I know. I know for sure that kindness gotta start with me. Like kindness really has to start with me. Honestly, if I'm not kind to myself, I don't think I'll be more kinder to anyone. And I believe when you're kind to yourself, you are able to extend that kindness to another person. But it doesn't mean you take BS from people, or you don't have to take shit from people. Like, be kind. I think the point is, don't be nice. It's okay to be nice, da, 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 but I believe in like just being kind. Kind. Nice will not take you, nice will just give people room to take advantage of you. So I would rather like fall on the line of like being kinder than being too nice to people. That's how maybe I define my kindness. So basically, there's been so much going on, like in the world, so much that goes on. So many uncertainties. Like no one. Well, like just to speak on myself, or to speak on behalf of my experiences. I feel like we are all figuring out ourselves. Like we are completely getting to know each other, girl. We are getting to understand ourselves as individuals in this world. Finding our lights. And there's somewhere I read that said like it's not about finding who you are. It's more of like creating who you are, and that really made sense to me because I think getting to create yourself, getting to have yourself, have these principles and values. For example, I have values and I have my own principles where like the things that are non-negotiable to me, and the things that like the things that I give a fuck about. So basically what I'm saying is that we're all trying to figure out our lives. We're all trying to figure out how to be more kinder, how to be more trusting with ourselves, how to be more empathetic, how to be more cautious, how to be more conscious, you know, and it's not a one day job, it's not an overnight job. This is like literally like the rest of your life. we don't have a choice. We don't really have a choice, but to just like, what I'm saying? Like, we don't have a choice but to be kind to ourselves, even especially on days when it's so hard, especially when you are in your head about something. And I know it's so easier said than done, honey. Trust me, I know. It's it's not easy. It's not easy to be kind. And I think it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of like self-awareness, a lot of like self-conscious to be in a position where like everything might be falling, everything might become, everything might be like crumbling down, but you are finding like you're just like you are keeping it together in a way. Yeah, and also I believe like you are not meant to carry all these things alone. Like no one can be able to carry all that alone. Mm-mm. No one is carrying it. Like you can't carry like this shit alone. You either need a higher power. Maybe I don't know if friends play. I think friends play a huge role when it comes to like our self development and our self improvement and things like that. Even family plays a huge role in some of those things. But for you who don't have that kind of support system, I think the only thing that's gonna keep you sane is like maybe your prayers or maybe like what you believe in, your higher power, your oh, sorry about that, your higher self. So basically, honey, do whatever it takes. Do whatever it takes to be a better version of yourself. Mm. So I wanted to implement some of the things that I have learned, or I want to project some of the things that I've learned over the years. Okay, I'm so young. Am I young? I'm so young, but I feel like I am. They say you are old, just trapped. What do they say? What do they say? What do they say? Okay, they say like you are an old soul trapped in an old. You are an old soul trapped in a young body. Yeah, please don't come for me. Don't come for me. I'm learning from there, Annie. Anyway, let's continue. And also my channel is gonna be more of like spontaneous stuff. Like I didn't have this planned out. Like okay, like I've always like wanted to like have a like a podcast or maybe like a platform where like I'm getting to share about like things in my life and stuff like that. So basically, this is so spontaneous. I love spontaneity. I don't like to, in as much as maybe preparing something might be better, you might have a better outcome, but I really love to like be spontaneous and just like say what's in my mind at that point because I think if I'll prepare something, it's okay to prepare for something. I'm not saying like don't prepare for anything that you're gonna do later, but I feel like for me, I feel I'll be performing. I'll not be my real self. Like I will not like I'll just be performing to y'all, and I want to make this channel as authentic as possibly I can. I'm not even gonna filter share. I'm not even gonna like, you know, try to be something or try to have this perfect like, you know, grammar. Anyway, besides the point, let's get into like the kindness now. So let me give you certain examples of my experiences when it comes to kindness. So, as a young person or as a young boy growing up, okay, I'm non-binary, so like you can call me girl, you can call me boy. So I kind of like refer to myself as a girl or a boy, whatever. You get it. If you get it, you get it. So basically, as a young girl, as a young boy, um, like you you are raised or I was raised in an environment where like I didn't get to really like understand kindness because my upbringing was so chaotic. Like I was brought up in a homestead where like people, like it's those times when people were kind of forced into marriage, if it makes sense. You're forced to raise children, you're forced to have a job, you're forced to, bring a wife home, stuff like that. So I was brought up, and I'm not trying to be a victim. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be a victim. I'm trying to like explain how kindness plays a huge role in our lives. So basically, as I was growing up, I grew in a very like dysfunctional home, as many of you like as yeah, many people can relate to that. So I grew in a chaotic environment where like it was so unpredictable. Like it was so unpredictable. Like I was raised with the notion of like discipline was defined as something. Discipline was just like you had to be really punished for you to be disciplined, if it makes sense. Like you had to be scolded to be disciplined. You had to be, like even in the world, I feel like it's so normalized. Like people normalize like being hard on you. That's when you're gonna get shit done. But I believe like that's not the way. I believe like people are different. Some people may take it like as a motivation. Some people may take it as something different from that. And someone might even break from that. So you're either breaking someone, you're either destroying their life, or you're either like, building them in a way. So for me, I think it was more of like it was kind of breaking my spirit, because I was raised with these like expectations. Just as many of us, like we are raised with these expectations. You have to meet certain expectations, certain targets in school. The program is the same. You have to be disciplined, and the discipline comes in the form of like people being harsh to you. You're like people like verbally abusing you, physically abusing you, mentally, psychologically. And that, as a child, is traumatizing because a child is not like, is not aware enough to know, like, you know, okay, we normally have this internal, like, internal gut, which tells that, which like speaks to us maybe as children. I think we all have that gut since we are born, or since like we have that, like self-conscious, like self-awareness when you get a certain age in life, but you're still young. So I was in a position where like I was so young to interpret what my body was trying to tell me, or how all that abuse, like, how that abuse kind of impacted me. And it really impacts you. Like I didn't know, I didn't know the intensity of the situation until being a young adult, literally. But we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. So, being raised in a homestead where like there's so much punishment, like the reward, like there's always a reward when you do something good. There's always a reward. When you do something bad, you're gonna be punished for it. You're gonna be punished heavily for it. And also like the idea of perfectionism, like we were like there was so much projection on perfectionism, like you have to be perfect like in everything. Your clothes have to be arranged in a certain way. You have to be boy enough, you have to be a girl enough, you have to be a woman enough. You see how I think this was, I was under a cycle, like under my folks cycle of misery and suffering, and with no self-aware awareness whatsoever. Like they were just doing life. They were like, they were going with the flow. Like they were just going with the flow. Like they went with what their parents expected them to do. And don't get me wrong, like I really do appreciate them. I really do. I really like, I'm grateful. I'm grateful, not that I went through that, but I'm grateful that it reached a point where like I didn't use that to make me a bitter person or make me um, a malicious person. And it takes work. I think it just takes a lot of work, but we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. So, being raised by people who are not self-aware, people who are not sure, like this is what they want, having to raise kids. And by the way, like I would advocate, if you want to raise a kid, or you gotta be prepared. Like I said, like spontaneity. But honey, I think I'm taking back my words. It depends. It depends on where like you're being spontaneous on. Like it's okay to go with the flow. I understand. But girl, really plan this shit. I know there's that baby fever, but honey, don't get kids when you've not yet gotten to know who the fuck you are. Because I think, okay, it's gonna be like a continuous thing, that it's gonna be like a continuous journey of, self um knowing, I'm like self-awareness and stuff. It's a continuous journey of self-growth, self-improvement, knowing thyself. But some decisions are, you really have to think them through. Honestly, like you really have to think some stuff through. So don't get into stuff just because. Ask questions, like ask your body questions. Pray. Do whatever it's necessary to just like be like, you know what, like I don't have more research to this. Let me research more. I know that I have that need for children, that need, that baby fever, just because your friend's having kids, just because, just because. Honey, don't. And I think I was a victim of that. I was a victim of, and I'm not trying to be a victim here. Yeah, just to let you know, like I'm not trying to be a victim, but that's the reality. Those are facts, facts. And I'm not saying the other word. Facts, they're facts. Anyway, um, yeah, it gets steamy. Let's steamy. What do you mean? Anyway, let's go on. So when you're raised in a place or under people who don't know themselves, they are under other forms of control, like the government. They are brainwashed. They are, they're people pleasers. You get to have those traits as well. They say you're a product of your environment. Honestly, I wouldn't agree. I wouldn't agree less. And I'm so grateful for, the internet. Like the internet has so much information. There's so much self-awareness content and also books, self-help books. They really like, if you wanna read a book that will really like save your life, and I'm not even like promoting any product here. These books really saved my life, and I think that's why, like, even in my own experiences, or that's why I'm not even like a bitter person. Like I've learned forgiveness, to forgive myself, to forgive my past, to forgive the people that played a huge role in, you know in so many outrageous things, in so many like things that can make you hate yourself, like, like even like brings shame, guilt. um and I think it's a continuous thing. Like it's not something that I've got, like, I wouldn't say like I've fully healed from that, but I have that self-awareness, and I think with that self-awareness I can choose if I want to continue like on this bettering myself journey, or I'm gonna continue being a victim of my environment. So these self-help books, are mastery of love, mastery of relationships, written by Miguel Ruiz, and this was recommended by my amazing cousin. And yeah, shout out to my cousin. Another one is called The Four Agreements. Oh my God, The Four Agreements, they changed my life. Like I see things in a different perspective. Like those books, like literally unlocked my mind. I was literally like, like a prototype. is that the right word? Like a photocopy of my parents, or a, a version of them. But when I read those books, it kind of like disassociated the whole idea. It kind of like, gosh, like those books will hit you like when you are in a place where there's toxicity, or in places where you feel like you don't belong, you feel you can't even be yourself. Honey, those books, like they will slap the truth out of you. And I'm so grateful for those books. So shout out to Miguel Ruiz. You changed my life. You changed my life. I'm so grateful. So actually they are, you can actually Google them and you can get them. So they're so easily accessible on the internet. Yeah, you can even listen to, YouTube videos about them. I think they're just out there somewhere. Four Agreements, and then there's another one called The Fifth Agreement. Four Agreements, The Fifth Agreement, and Mastery of Relationships, Love. Yeah. Mm. Let's continue. Yeah. So being brought in such an environment, um, I was taught that kindness meant me bending backwards. Yeah, for people, it meant me shrinking myself. That's how I was taught kindness was. Kindness was, leaving everything that I'm doing, um, even betraying myself. If it means betraying myself, honey, you gotta betray yourself so that other people feel comfortable. That's what I was taught. And do you know, like, mind you, it's not something that you are spoon fed. It's just like I told you, like, you're a product of your environment. Like the things that your parents do, the things that your parents like adore, emulate, get inspiration from, you find yourself like going through the same pattern unconsciously. This was so unconscious. So people pleasing was so unconscious. I saw my mom doing all these things. I saw, like people who were around me do these things. And actually, shout out to my mom. I love my mom. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying is that I saw these things growing up where like you're just people pleasing. You're just pleasing other people. You are you are literally shrinking yourself to be of service in quotes. And I think it's such a beautiful thing to be of service, but I don't believe in like having to betray yourself so much, like having to betray your own dreams, betraying your own self so that you can be able to appease other people. That's what I was unconsciously taught. That's what was defined as kindness back then. Another one was that I was brought with this like idea of thinking like living in an environment where like it's always like a yes situation, like you have to say yes to everything. Katao, like refuse to say yes, honey, you will be beaten blue and black, honey, you'll be beaten blue and black, honey. There's no we are not negotiating, like we are not fucking negotiating about like it. If it's yes all the time. Yeah, you gotta nod, you gotta like, like there's no room for weaklings. There's no room for that. That was the mentality. There's no room for weaklings. There's no room for okay. There's no room for this is getting funny, and it's not meant to be funny, but it's I think like it's it's if it gets funny. I mean, why not? Why not? Like, let's not take life too seriously. But let's go on. So, like, it was a yes. We were yes men. Like, yes, you gotta say yes to every opportunity. You gotta say yes to everything that you're told. There's no room for no. But we're gonna get into the future. This is the past. So I was taught that was kindness. That was kindness. Like, you're being so kind when you're saying yes to everything. Mm. Another one is when a relative, someone who's older than you, abuses you in any way, like physically, like verbally, even sometimes sexually, which is so sad. Like, you gotta keep quiet. Like, Don't tell us. Deal with you. You were never told to be outspoken about our feelings. We were never taught to, and you find like I have so much compassion, and that's why, like I say, kindness is such a huge thing. Like it's such a huge thing in our lives because right now, when I look back, literally when I look back, I'm like, with the self-help books, like with the self-awareness, you can't do this without the self-awareness. You have to really have the self-awareness. That's why, like, I'm recommending these books, honey. They will change your life for good. It's gonna be like a long journey. It's gonna be like it's not gonna be like a linear journey. It's just gonna be like ups and downs, triggers, and that's when you know you're healing. That's when you know, like, when you're getting triggers, when it seems like it's not working for you. I think that's when like the work is being done. Honestly, yeah. That's why like I really like advocate for compassion and empathy. So I'm able to empathize with their situation. So right now I'm thinking like the future version of me, or the self, or the present version of me is kind of like going back and being like, I can't imagine what my parents went through to be such kind of people. I can't, I can't really imagine. And it takes a lot of compassion and forgiveness. This is making me emotional a bit. It takes a lot of like compassion, a lot of empathy, a lot of forgiveness, because the things that were done, they are absurd. Like, mm, there's so many things that we, like, in the world, like, we stomach, like, we stomach so much, we stomach a lot of things, but you release yourself, like, you find a way to release yourself. It's not an easy journey. You find a way to get out of those situations in your life. No matter how much you love people, sometimes you really have to leave them where they are, you know? And the sad thing is that I might have that self-awareness, but this person, this person is still operating from that place. And it's so sad. And it's so sad. And hence why like I wanted to create this channel where we can just like figure out, you know, and I can just like reach one person who is just going through something. And I think we're all going, that's why kindness is such a huge thing. Like that's why like I wanted today to be about like kindness. Oh, oh, I didn't expect this, but it's a part of the process. Like I've come to know like kindness right now. Let me now define kindness in the present moment. With all that happened in the past and everything, I've come to define like kindness. I don't have to bend backwards for anyone. I don't have to appease people. I don't have to say yes to everything, even when it doesn't sit right with me. Even when I'm uncomfortable. You know, I don't have to do that anymore. Like I don't have to do that anymore. If it means, if the opportunities means me like losing myself, or they are against my values and principles, it's a no. It's a no. And that's the reality. Like, it's a no. And you are a bigger part of creating your own reality. So, my reality is not going to be like a yes man, period. So, there's so many definitions to kindness, and there's so many ways you can be kind. But these are the most important things you can. They sound simple, but hard to implement in our lives because it takes a lot of courage. It's not like, I think it takes a lot of like even practice. You practice being kind, but I'm going to give you the tools. I'm going to give you the tools. So basically the tools would be, and I know maybe I didn't like give you like the whole scenarios of like how my past was, but I'm going to create some time and we're going to talk about that. But you get the point, right? You get the point. Yeah. So, right now I'm at a place where like kindness for me is being so kind with myself, like in every aspect of my life, being kind with the place that I am today. being grateful for this place that I am today. I'm learning something. There's always something to learn. There's always something to grow out of the place that you are in. I've come to realize like I'm not a product of my environment anymore. Like I have, in as much as maybe I might be close to, you know, my relatives who are not in the same place as me, my mind liberates me from having to be like them because I have the self-awareness, and that's the difference. So kindness to me means like walking away from everything and anything that does not give me peace. Kindness is realizing like my self-respect is on the verge of disappearing, but I want to fight for that self-respect. So kindness is also like in the form of like self-respect, respecting your choices, respecting your decisions, respecting your values and principles. You're being kind to yourself, honestly, period. And you're being of service, not just to you. You know, like people think like just because you're implementing these things in your lives or in your life, like you're being self-absorbed. They say self-absorbed. Well, there can be elements of self-absorbing, but I feel like you gotta be in a place where like you gotta check in with yourself. That's not being self-absorbed. That's you isolating to get better. And I would advocate like be alone. I mean, like being alone is like a gift. Like right now I'm alone. It's a gift on its own. Like you get to know yourself more. I get to do this. I get to like have my own space. I get to being alone is a gift. Like literally, like as isolation is a gift. You don't gotta be. And also another thing I wanted to discuss. We are usually like I had this idea where like I had to be around people, like we were programmed to think like just because you're isolating, you are running away from the community or you're running away from society or from family. Like, what are you hiding? There are those kinds of mindsets where like people think like you are against them in a way. And I think that's how society is made. Like society is made to like put you in a corner. Like we want to see you, we want to shrink you so much. Like we want to see what you're about so we can come for you. But when you are literally like doing the opposite of what society expects, everyone gets triggered. Like that's the sad truth. Like that's the truth. Like when you are isolating yourself for your own self peace, for your own betterment, people will always say like you are the odd one out. Hutakangi kushirikiana na watu. They will say all of those kinds of things. They will literally like make you feel guilty for wanting to better yourself, wanting to be alone. People will make you feel guilty, make you feel shame, make you feel all these kinds of emotions. But honey, the key is continue being defiant. Continue being defiant. Like, is it defiant or defiant? Both. Defiance. Honey, continue being defiant in every aspect. Honey, do not bend backwards for anyone, for shit. It doesn't make you a mean person. It doesn't make you a rude person. It doesn't make you, it doesn't make you anything like bad or anything. It just you gain self-respect. You gain so much room to get to know yourself, to build a relationship with yourself and your higher self, with your God. Yeah, for me, God, period. Period. Like, girl, get your shit together. Be alone. In as much as maybe you're living in a place where like being alone is kind of like hard, find ways you can be able to just get away from people. Get away from people, and that would do so much justice for you. Not all the time taking everything that people have to say, taking literally everything that people have, like you are just absorbing people's energies. Like energy is a currency. Energy is a fucking currency. Do not waste your time. At least I'm learning from that. Like I'm learning like I don't have to be in every situation in life. I don't have to be I don't have to be anyone's friend. I don't have to force myself into conversations that I'm not a part of, or I don't want to insert myself in things. And I still am figuring out, like I'm still unlearning people pleasing. Ooh, I'm unlearning. It's not an easy job, honey. Taking like unlearning is a job. Like we are a full-time job. Like your job will never make you as better as you want to be. And your real full-time job is getting your ish together. Like in a kind way though. Like, honey, this is your life. This is your life. This is your life. You can do whatever you want with your life. Give yourself permission. Like cut off people who don't. Like, I mean, by then, like I've cut so many people off. And I'm so proud. Like I've cut so many people off. People who don't bring me value. They're not like they. Like it's me. I don't like small talks with people. I feel like it's a waste of time. I feel like we are forcing things. I don't want to be in a position where like I want to be with people who are open-minded, and we don't have to be like the same, but actually we can learn from each other. Like we can learn something from one another. Yeah. So basically, babe, that's about kindness. Kindness is just being kinder to yourself, being kinder to your principles, being kinder to your values as a person, being kinder to your inner child that wants to heal, being kinder. And it takes so much confidence to be kind. And someone who is kind is the most confident person. Like being kind is the most sexiest thing on this planet. But you define, and actually you defined what kindness means to you as well. You defined what kindness looks like for you, as long as you're not doing, like you're not hurting other people, as long as you're not intentionally like hurting other people's feelings, as long as you are being kind to yourself, you're gonna like naturally you're gonna extend that to people. You're gonna extend that to people who truly deserve your presence, people who truly deserve to be in your life. You're gonna extend that in one way or another. Yeah. Okay, I might have gone back and forth, like not having like a symmetrical like way of like putting it together, or but I'm gonna learn from that. This is the start. We're gonna learn from that. But the lesson today is just being kinder to yourself. When you're kinder to yourself, you're